Straight out of the Basilica. All Saints Radio. A new way to be inspired, uplifted, and motivated to be more and do more. All Saints Radio. A positive way to express your faith and share the love of God in your community. All Saints Radio with D-Mac.
What's good? This is Derriqmaq on your radio. Listen, y'all, we got important business to take care of for the next hour of the show. Tarisse Iriarte is on. She's been doing major work on the island of Puerto Rico. It is so good to have you ready to go talk about what's going on in the culture. Give us an update on what's happening right about now.
Hello. Thank you for having me on the show again. I really appreciate you keeping a pulse on Puerto Rico and all the things that are happening in Puerto Rico and some of the battles we're facing here. And I really just want to tell you what we're doing to resist those atrocities that are happening and also to talk about the movement and ways that people can support.
No doubt. Last time we were having a conversation, we spoke about everything from the schools closing to the grandmamas and the grandpapas having to do the teaching work because mamas and papas are out there trying to rebuild Puerto Rico. Man, the Jones Act, all kinds of stuff we rolled through on our last discussion. So we're going to keep that vibe going. Let's start it off by recapping.
Well, a lot of the projects that we've been working on specifically deal with a number of different things. So there's been a lot of programs cut under the Trump administration to Puerto Rico. So there's been a lot of suffering in a lot of the areas of the island, and especially Vieques. Vieques is our island here in Puerto Rico, and over the years historically has been oppressed and economically, environmentally, from toxic waste being dumped in Vieques to hospital closings. Cancer patients and dialysis patients have no way to get to the mainland, to San Juan, to get to their doctor's appointments, get to dialysis appointments, and they have a lot of these individuals who are dealing with life-threatening diseases have no way, and conditions rather, have no way of accessing a hospital and medical care. So this is something that's really important in terms of like how we deal with these things on the island. We want to save lives, and we don't want people to be stuck in a position where they can't even access simple, basic things like access to a doctor. Right now, people are suffering because of the privatization by the government to shut down a lot of the services here in Puerto Rico. So I wanted to kind of put that on people's radar that's a fight, a real fight that we're dealing with right now.
What can we do to help out the hospital and the public school situation?
Well, there's a number of things happening. There is a friend of mine has a initiative called La Clínica de Comida. It's called the Food Clinic in English. Basically, she is trying to provide services and do a whole health clinic. Her roots are in Vieques also, but she is a New Yorican who has moved back to the island to push for that. She's an international chef, so she decided to utilize her skill set to contribute to that. So if people want to support as a health physician, practitioner, in September we're going to have a full clinic where we'll be able to go to different parts of the island and treat people. But Vieques is one of those spaces that definitely needs our help in terms of getting people, medical professionals on the ground to take blood pressure, to do different types of examinations for our people, because there is nowhere else for them to go. And without a ferry, which is the way that they are transported to San Juan, there's nothing, there's no way that they can access a hospital. People have waited literally 12 hours
Oh my goodness.
to get a ferry. And these are dialysis patients. These are cancer patients. These are people with serious heart conditions. And they have no way to get to a hospital.
That's crazy.
That's heartbreaking.
If you're just joining us, this is the ASR interview. We're in the middle of the Puerto Rico update with Tarisse Iriarte, man. She's on the island doing major work. So stick with us this entire hour. We've got a lot of information and a lot of ground to cover, figuratively and literally, on the island of Puerto Rico. Thanks for checking us out. It's All Saints Radio with Derriqmaq. This is how we do it. It's music with a higher calling. Stick with us.
Yeah.
You are now tuned in to the very best.
Music with a higher calling.
Live and direct.
Connect to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Worldwide. Anywhere in the world.
Hashtag All Saints Radio.
What's good? This is All Saints Radio, man. I am Derriqmaq, and this is the Puerto Rico update. It's a special edition of the ASR interview. And on the island, doing the work, making things happen. It's Tarisse Iriarte, near and dear to our hearts here at ASR. T, thank you so much for being on the air with us. Let's talk about some disaster capitalism as well as the fight against illegal debt, because that's craziness on the island right about now.
So one of the things that I feel like that, that kind of gets skimmed over in the media in particular is the debt crisis in Puerto Rico. One of the major issues is around illegal debt and the predatory loan practices and things that had happened with the bonds here in Puerto Rico that impacts our everyday existence here on the island. The debt crisis is something we've been fighting for years. Puerto Rico has been billions of dollars in debt. Now we're trying to combat that because they were predatory to begin with. And a lot of the bonds were illegal in the way that they were set up and contractually structured. This is an ongoing fight in New York. There are fiscal La Junta and La Promesa make fiscal decisions for Puerto Rico that impact us directly. And one of those was the school closing. Other things are service jobs that have been cut, pensions that have been cut. So these are direct impacts that come from the debt crisis and constantly fighting that. There are a number of individuals, New Yorkers, that are on the ground all the time fighting this, are going to court hearings, are going to a date. There is a judge that has basically allowed a lot of these people to take advantage of Puerto Rico. And we are trying to combat that issue by showing up to the courts, by coming in numbers. There's a young woman named Nicole Torres, and she's actually helping to lead that fight in New York. So I think, people have to put their weight behind that because if you are in the New York City area, we could use your help and support around that and just getting the word out. Also, Boriken Podcast talks a lot about what's happening and gives a lot of updates. You can find her on Instagram at Boriken Podcast.
And we'll put that information up on faith2k.com as well, as we always do. We always post the update on the website. So whatever information you have, feel free to forward it because we'll definitely get it up and make sure that it is in a prominent place where people can not only see it, but participate in the help.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's the Puerto Rico update with Tarisse Iriarte. She is doing major work on the island of Puerto Rico. Stick with us. We'll be back with more after this.
Turn your radio up.
All Saints Radio. All Saints Radio. All Saints Radio. All Saints Radio.
Hey, what's good? I'm Derriqmaq from All Saints Radio. Between the years 2010 and 2017, approximately 340 public schools have been shut down in Puerto Rico. Arts, music, and wellness programs have been eliminated in several elementary schools, which is a significant part of the Boricuan history and culture. Arts activists, educators, and creatives like me understand how vital it is to have access to an education that fosters critical thinking and a powerful worldview. I'm asking for your help as a collective of activists at El Hormiguero hold space to continue arts education programs for our young people who have lost their schools. We need you and your network to donate art supplies, SD cards, books, instruments, digital tablets, cameras, and canvases so that our young people can tell their stories and preserve the history of the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. With that said, I'm inviting you to connect to me on faith2k.com so that you can contribute to the Amazon wish list where donations can be ordered, as well as a link to the art spaces in Puerto Rico where monetary donations can be made. Hey, I'm Derriqmaq from All Saints Radio. The people of Puerto Rico need our help, so let's show up and show out for our peeps down in the PR.
Big beats, big love.
This was prescribed for your listening.
This is All Saints Radio.
It's All Saints Radio on your radio. My name is Derriqmaq, and this is the Puerto Rico update. It's a special edition of the All Saints Radio interview. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to have on Tarisse Iriarte. She's doing important work on the island of Puerto Rico. T, as much as I like to crack jokes and speak life into people, this right here is something that angers me. Companies that come in and try to push and gentrify neighborhoods that they have no business being in is a problem with me, especially to those who are doing micro farming just to try to raise some crops to feed everyone in the neighborhood. What in the world is going on with the micro farmers and these companies with these poisoning of the fields?
So Monsanto, now known as Bayer, which Bayer actually acquired Monsanto, there was an acquisition that took place, but Monsanto is a major conglomerate that basically comes into different communities and they make pesticides. Puerto Rico is an agricultural communities. Puerto Rico is an island, and in that island there are mountains, there are, different climates where we can grow multiple things here. So the agricultural community is very strong, and almost every person who's a farmer on this island is actually an activist as well. They are stewards of the land, and they are earth keepers. And to be disrespected by a major company, $1 billion company, to come into your community and spray pesticides that are cancer-causing pesticides is just as insult to injury for the things that we're already faced with on this island in terms of rebuilding. And now Monsanto has a presence on this island, and they are in different communities, bring the pesticides that they know cause health hazards and health conditions. People have already been diagnosed from a product called Roundup. There's been court cases where people have sued Monsanto and been paid settlements because they have been impacted by the chemicals that Monsanto produces. And over time, again, it begins to destroy your body and cause health conditions. And so Roundup is one of them, and they still have not taken it off the market. So they are here in Puerto Rico in a community, and the people living across from the community are actually suffering because they are inhaling that every day because it's in the air. It's now affecting the air quality in these particular communities. So these are elders, these are young children in these communities, and they're breathing this in.
My goodness, we've covered a lot of ground, T. We've covered a lot of ground. We're going to, as usual, we'll be posting all of this on our faith2k.com site. If you need more information, be sure to keep up with us on the socials. Stay connected because this is important work. Look, I don't know any other way to say this, but thank you. That's all I've got, T. Thank you so much for everything you're doing for the people of Puerto Rico and those of us who are inspired by the good work you're doing for the people of Puerto Rico.
I really appreciate every donation, every heartfelt message, and your encouragement and love. Thank you, Derrick, and the whole family over there at ASR. I am incredibly grateful for this platform and an opportunity to talk about the issues that are happening here on the island.
This is All Saints Radio. I'm Derriqmaq. Let's go.
Stay connected to the social networks of All Saints Radio on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. #All Saints Radio.